just going through the motions of the day, but lived every day passionately? When was the last time you tried something new, lived on the edge, and pushed past your limits?
You need a fit body to live life to the fullest. That's why Verve Life 4.0 is here. Come vibe with us on Nigeria's biggest fitness fest, Verve Life 4.0, on Saturday, November 6th, 7 a.m. at Landmark Event Center. Visit www.myverveworld.com/live to register and follow Verve
Morning,
on
Fisayo.
Facebook and Instagram for details.
Yeah, good morning.
Focus on the Nigerian economy.
Abiola, you're muted.
Oh, okay. When I saw Abiola Gbemisola, I knew you are the one.
I would know I'm the one, guy. It's been a while, a long time, huh?
How you doing?
Good.
Okay, so we're going right now. Thank you very much. We're going to go live on radio now.
Okay.
Good morning, and thank you very much for staying tuned here on Smooth 98.1. I am Mairo-Ese. It's a Tech Friday edition of Business Express 981, and I hope you're ready for some tech news. Joining me this morning to analyze the stories, I have Fisayo Durojaiye. Good morning, Fisayo. How are you today?
I'm very well. Good morning, Aya. Good morning, Lagos.
All right, brilliant. Now joining us as well, we have Abiola Gbemisola. Morning, Abiola Gbemisola. Thanks very much for joining us.
It's a pleasure to be here. Good morning.
Abiola is analyst at FBNQUEST Merchant Bank. And today we're going to be reviewing, or the focus of the topic this morning is the African technology sector fundraising update from FBNQUEST. And so Abiola, we're really glad to have you because, of course, whom better to have than, a part of the team. So if you'd like to join the conversation, we are streaming live on our YouTube channel. Head on to youtube.com, search for Smooth 981 FM Lagos. Also, don't forget to send us a WhatsApp message. WhatsApp is 0809 444 0981. Again, that's 0809 444 0981.
Perfect. I don't know. I think this is stepping into big shoes, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'll just do it like Fisayo does it. Anyways, Abiola, I've seen the report. I've read quite a bit of it. But there's something that stuck out, right, around fundraising in Africa, and of course, the way fundraising has been going. So, of course, your report suggested that, yes, investors are bullish about Africa. So the question for me is this: why do you think they're bullish? I think that there's a lot of reasons not to be bullish, about Africa. So what is specifically driving this investor sentiment in tech across Africa?
So, in looking and answering that question, one of the things that we can say about the African ecosystem, right, as well as what is happening in terms of investment and the large number of the new deals that we are seeing, I think to a very large extent, I just like to say that the model for investing across the world is not diversified, right? Investors have moved from the traditional model to investing in listed companies, bonds, and the likes, right? So investing across sectors, right? And the long-term view is that over time, right, we will see new companies on the continent, and it's not just a continent thing, across the world. You see new companies pop up in the future, right? And investors are trying to play the long game by making stakes in those business ahead of the sort of exit that you can see in terms of IPOs in the future, or even sale to a similar party to a merger and acquisition deal in the future. So investors are saying that right now, let us look into the future and what can happen to different companies, right? But those investments are not just gambles as well, right? They're also looking at who are the founders of those companies. Have they had previous successes? Where have they worked before, right? And what sort of, what I like to say, what is the business model of those companies? Are they sustainable? Do they have a target customers that are viable? Right? What's the addressable market for those customers? Also looking at it, what's the average revenue that is possible from each user? So it's looking at several factors, right? It's not just a case of looking at Africa or looking at Nigeria, right? What is clear, if you look at it from the story of a macro view of Nigeria, especially in the last 10 years, or Africa itself in the last 10 years has not had a very strong growth like it used to have, say, before 2010, right, where we used to have the Africa Rising narrative, and we saw growth in the continent around an average of 7%, right? Within the continent, struggle to have growth of around 3% to 5% of the continent now, right? That is not deterring investors. Investors see that the long-term view of the market is positive, right? And again, I like to say it's not a African thing, right? It's a global thing all across the world. In this year alone, 2021, we've seen over 300 new unicorns globally, right? So it's a lot of putting money across different businesses.
Okay, well, that makes sense, and I think it's a global phenomenon. Of course, people will say yes. Maybe in 2021, there's so much capital globally, right? So maybe that's why too much capital is chasing too few startups. I mean, there are arguments like that. But of course, I need to probably drive quickly away from that to an interesting, or maybe a more familiar thing that we've been discussing on this show for a very long time, around the fact that fintech seem to be, getting a larger share of such investments across Africa. I mean, in Nigeria, in Kenya, in Egypt, in South Africa, fintech seem to be leading the way. Even for unicorns, from Cheaper Cash to Flutterwave to InterSwitch, to the Egyptian one, they're all fintech companies. So essentially, why I mean, maybe it's a question begging for itself, right? Why is fintech, the investors' darling in this space?
So that question is quite complicated a little bit, but to answer it in a very plain manner, right? I would say fintechs, right, or financial service companies have, across the continent, they have the largest share of users. That's just what answers the question, right? They have the largest share of users, and once you're able to have more people to test your product, you have more people to use your products, and you have more people paying to use your products, right? What you see is you tend to attract more investors, more people that will be interested in investing in that product. That's essentially what's happening with fintechs, right? Just I think in September, one of the biggest mobile money operators on the continent, right? That's M-Pesa, right? In East Africa, mentioned that it now has over 50 million users, right? And you only get that kind of users for a fintech company, right? You only get that kind of number of people saying that they want to use the mobile money service like that. And the product they are offering is also quite used by a large number of people across East Africa. So what I'm just trying to say is that just like you see within traditional models of business, right? You have banks. Look at banks within the continent. Banks within the continent are one of the biggest companies on the continent, right? So it's not just a case of investors looking at fintechs, right? It's a financial service play, right? And we have in a system where money is as old as man itself. Man likes to exchange money for payments, for store of value, and different uses for money, right? So that is really what is driving the interest in fintechs.
Perfect. Well, that's fine. I think that's explanatory. I want to again quickly jump. So because we've talked so long about investment, but we've talked so little about exits. Aside from a private market perspective, right? Of course, your report suggested that yes, the M&A activities, mergers and acquisition type activities on the continent will be on the rise. Are there early signs that you're seeing that makes you make these bold predictions? I mean, you can look at the number of investment that have been done on the continent. You can see the number of too few exits that are happening on the continent as well. So why do you think that M&A activities will probably, get on the rise on the continent going forward?
Yeah, true. While we've seen very few of such deals that are MIAs, right? But what is clear is that if you look at the trend between 2019 and now, right, for what we tracked, right, in 2019, we saw about 7 deals in terms of M&A so far in 2017. We looked at it for 2020 level, it declined to about 5 deals, right? But the one that was most popular last year was thinking about Stripes taking or buying Paystack, right, which was very good for the African ecosystem and was lauded. Right, and this year alone, or this just Q3 alone this year that we tracked, we saw around 7 deals, right? what we think is that over time, right, more investors will continue to look at M&As as an opportunity for them to exit their businesses, right, and also reward the investors in them, right. And over time as well, we'll start to see more businesses that will look at means of M&As as a means of collaborating rather than competing with new companies, right? So what we see a lot within the ecosystem is a lot of companies offering almost the same value proposition with just slight adjustments, right? So over time, you start to see businesses saying that, okay, let us collaborate more, let us merge to be bigger players, right? So that's what we think will drive those deals in the future. And as well, if you look at the fact that for a very long time, a lot of businesses on the continent have been existing, right? We think that some of them have reached a point where they'll be looking at saying that, okay, let us sell ourselves to an external party. Let's invite an external party to come play within our space, right? So that's what we think that will likely drive those kind of deals going forward into the future. So it's not a now thing, right? But it's definitely happen over time. And it's just a future of when you're thinking about an industry life cycle, right? Across the different stages of an industry life cycle. It's just one of those things that happen. M&As are not peculiar to say that. You don't say M&As happening in an industry because that industry is mature, right? M&As can happen within the beginning stage of an industry, or when this industry is growing rapidly fast, or when this industry is mature. It can always happen across the different stages of an industry.
Okay, makes sense. Aya, please let me know if you have any comments already.
Yes, I'm monitoring the comment section. We don't seem to have any question yet or contributions. Of course, I know when it comes to analysis like this, people listen intently, except there's something that they need clarification on. So please, you're doing well. Go on.
Yeah. All right. Okay. So Abiola, again, just to hammer in a bit around this M&A thing, right? In my former life as an investment banker, of course, which you are today, is that one of the biggest things one of the biggest drawback for M&A is ego. Essentially, everybody thinks that the deal makes sense. Everybody thinks that yes, these companies are better together. But of course, the ego is going to be CEO of this big company. I'm CEO of this small company. Am I not going to be deputy CEO, in the larger entity? So do you think that from a tech perspective, the ego question has been solved? Because I think that's the biggest problem with M&As, a lot of times, right? Like, who's going to run? Who's going to be in charge? I'd rather be in charge of my small company and be the CEO and everybody listens to than be, the head of the country manager in Nigeria, in a larger entity. So do you think the ego problem has been solved in the tech ecosystem, that will drive, M&A activities?
So, Fisayo, you can't solve ego. You can't, right?
Exactly. So, I mean, you predicted it. So, and I'm saying that's the biggest problem too. That's the biggest problem.
Definitely. What we are saying is that we'll see more deals. You see more deals on the rise, right? A lot of people will need money to run their business. Look at an announcement that was made just a few days ago in Nigeria, where Flutterwave Aka and Desha, right? What we can say about that deal is this is a company that has not gotten any funding, right? And it's saying that we want to shut down. And then you have another company step in to say, okay, we have a place for you within our business.
Right?
So, and that in itself is already an acquisition deal already. Yeah. So what we're saying is that we will start to see more people collaborating, right? At the end of the day, we have people that are founding businesses with no source of capital. All they have is an idea, right? And we've seen them grow their businesses, right? So we're also saying that within the context of people growing their businesses to be unicorns, we also see some people grow their businesses to put some cash in their pockets even before they're unicorns, right? By exiting those businesses and using those monies to better their lives as well.
All right. Thank you so very much. We are out of time. Sir, did you have a final thought? We're out of time though, but did you have a final thought?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think today is all for Abiola, right? So
it is all for Abiola.
you know,
I think people are going to have
it's all-
missed your take. So I want to tell all the people who usually enjoy Fisayo on the other side of the table and love his sarcasm. But today he gets to be the moderator and actually just, focus. So thank you so much, Fisayo, for doing a brilliant job. And of course, thank you to our
Thank
special
you.
guest, Abiola Gbemisola from
Yeah.
FBNQUEST. Thank you for coming to respond. And I'm sure that it's a different flavor from Fisayo. So we're grateful, But Fisayo, you're back next week and you're swapping roles and switching to where we like it.
It's nice being on this side.
No, you sound
nice
too
being on this
mellow.
side.
No,
I
it's too
enjoyed it.
mellow. No, we don't want that. Thank you. All right, to all our listeners, thanks for being a part of the conversation this morning. I'm sure, I was going to say hope, but I think I'm sure that you were able to glean, some information from the analysis, the excellent analysis from our guest, Abiola. All right, next up is Freshly Pressed 901 at 7:30. Do join us then for some detailed analysis of today's national news headline stories. Thank you. I am Mairo-Ese with Valentine Ohu here for Smooth Breakfast Show.
Business Express. Brought to
All right,
you by
thank you so much. How was it, Abiola? I hope it was good for you. All right, excellent.
I've been on the show since 2018, so.
Oh wow! Okay, so you're a veteran. You haven't here before I was. All right, thank you so much. Fisayo, well done.
All right.
Nice one. Thank you. Have a lovely day, everyone.
Yeah. Bye. Yeah.